The morning fog clung low over the fields outside Dublin, Wales. The sheep hadn't stirred yet, and neither had most of the villagers. But in a narrow stone cottage at the edge of the moors, something was already awake. Gareth opened his bedroom door to a strange smell. Burnt toast again. The sharp scent mixed with something else, metallic, like heated iron. He walked down the creaky stairs to find his grandmother, Nan Gwen, standing in the kitchen. She was holding a saucepan like a shield, pointing it at the gas stove. Her gray curls were sticking out wildly from under her knitted cap, and her eyes were narrowed with suspicion. "They were here again, Gareth," she whispered, not taking her eyes off the cooker. Gareth rubbed his eyes. "Who, Nan?"
"Them."
"The ones that hum when the fire's low. They slid out from under the burners last night. Left tracks on the floor, see?" Gareth glanced down. The floor was clean as always. Nan Gwen prided herself on a spotless kitchen. But as Gareth stepped closer, he noticed something, a faint trail of circular smudges, almost like water rings, moving in a curved line from the stove toward the hallway. "They came this far?" he asked. "They were curious," she said. "They never leave the kitchen. But last night, one stopped by the cupboard. It stared at the biscuit tin for 10 minutes. Stared. Well, I think it was staring. It doesn't have eyes, just those pulsing bits on the side. Like jellyfish." Gareth crouched and touched the smudge. It was slightly sticky. Not wet, but as if the floor had been brushed with sugar syrup. He stood and faced her. "Nan, I think we should get someone to come look. Maybe Dr. Ellis." "Dr. Ellis thinks I'm lonely," she said dismissively. "I told him I'm never alone. Especially not after 2. That night, Gareth left his phone on record and placed it by the stove. He didn't sleep well. In the morning, he found the phone flat on its back beneath the kitchen table. The video was corrupted. Just static and occasional flashes of blue light. But something had changed. The biscuit tin was gone. Gareth searched the house. Behind cupboards under the sink in the garden. No sign of the biscuit tin. Nan Gwen sat calmly, sipping her tea. "They took it," she said. "It was a trade." "A trade?"
"Yes."
"I left a tea bag near the stove. That was their sign. They took the tin in return." Gareth tried not to show frustration. Why would aliens want a biscuit tin? They're learning.
About taste.
Texture. Curiosity isn't only human, you know. At work, Gareth found himself distracted. He stared at spreadsheets but only saw those strange, sticky rings. He returned home early. The kettle was boiling itself. No one had turned it on. Nan Gwen was in the living room drawing spirals on the wall. When he asked why, she replied, "They don't think in straight lines. They move in spirals." That night, Gareth didn't sleep at all. By morning, 3 more spirals had appeared, one on the fridge, one on the back door, and one on Gareth's bedroom mirror. Nan Gwen said nothing, only watched him silently as he paced. He photographed them, sent them to a friend in Cardiff who studied cryptography. The reply came quickly. "It's not a code, I know. But the patterns suggest motion. Orbit, maybe?" That night, Gareth sat by the stove. He turned off all the lights. At 2:07 a.m., the hum returned. The flame dimmed and shimmered. And then, as if breathing, it widened. A figure emerged, glassy and wet-looking, like molten glass shaped into the idea of a creature. It didn't walk. It floated, spiraling gently. Gareth froze. The creature approached the kettle, tapped it once, then vanished back into the flame. Nan Gwen was standing behind him. "They don't want to hurt us," she whispered. "But they're getting braver." Gareth insisted on taking Nan Gwen to Dr. Ellis. She agreed, though with a smirk. In the consultation room, she described the visitors in detail. The doctor nodded politely, but glanced at Gareth with concern. Afterwards, in private, Dr. Ellis said, "She's showing early signs. Hallucinations. Could be degenerative." Gareth left the clinic torn between logic and the memory of that floating shape. Back home, Nan Gwen was already in the kitchen. On the table was a small object, shiny, circular, not made of any material Gareth recognized. Inside it was a single shortbread biscuit. "They returned it," Nan Gwen said, smiling. They liked it. A storm rolled in that evening. Fierce winds, rattling windows. Power flickered. Nan Gwen sat by the stove, tracing the air with her fingers. Gareth heard it again. At 2:07 a.m. sharp, the hum, louder this time. And something else, a rhythm, like tapping. He followed it to the kitchen and saw symbols appearing on the steamed-up window. Circles within circles. A message? Nan Gwen translated without being asked. They're coming in numbers. Not to invade. To observe. The wind howled. The stove flickered off, then on. The humming deepened. That night, Gareth dreamed of spirals beneath his skin. Word had gotten out. The postman told the butcher. The butcher told the school. People whispered about the strange things at Gwen's house. One evening, a man knocked. Sharp suit. Accent not local. "Mr. Lloyd," he asked Gareth. "I represent a research division. May we examine your grandmother's home?" Gareth hesitated. Nan Gwen was in the garden drawing spirals with chalk. The man left a card. No name. Just a number. That night, Gareth caught movement in the garden. A shape not Gwen hovering near the compost bin. He stepped outside. The shape vanished into thin air. The stove malfunctioned. Flame too high. Gareth turned it off. When he did, he heard a sound like glass shattering, but nothing broke. Nan Gwen looked panicked. "They're trapped," she said. Gareth turned the flame back on. A bright flash lit the room. The hum became a low note that vibrated the floor. Suddenly, Gareth wasn't in the kitchen anymore. He was floating in a warm, blue void. Spirals turned around him. Shapes moved slowly. Peaceful. Curious. He woke on the floor. Nan Gwen beside him. "You open the gate," she said, proud. More objects appeared in the house. A spoon that stayed warm. A mirror that didn't reflect. A clock that counted backwards at night. Gareth took photos. The man in the suit returned. "We need to take her in," he said. "For everyone's safety." "No," Gareth replied. That night, the stove whispered. "They're asking if we want to go," Nan Gwen said. "Not leave. Just visit." Gareth stared at the flame. A small spiral glowed within it. Gareth made his decision. He packed nothing. Nan Gwen wore her garden hat. At 2:07 a.m., they stood before the stove. "Just a peek," she said. The flame bloomed wide, like a flower. Light filled the room. The spirals turned. And then they were gone. The cottage stayed quiet. No more humming. Just the soft ticking of a backwards clock. No one in Kumdar saw them again. But sometimes, very early, when the mist is thick and the wind still, the kitchen smells faintly of lavender and toast.